Welcome back to Diamond Facets. Worcester Red Sox pitcher Rio Gomez is here in BirchTree Bread Company. We're out in their seating area outside. We've been baking in the kitchen, having a blast, got some coffees, and we're going to be learning about Rio's Team Columbia experience and work in the community. In March, went to Team Columbia, representing where your mother is from.
Yeah.
Have you always dreamed about going and representing her?
Absolutely. I mean, I think playing in the World Baseball Classic's the second biggest dream I've ever had in my baseball career. Obviously, making it to the show is the biggest dream, but playing in the World Baseball Classic was the next biggest one that I've always had on my list. And being able to play in that and be a part of the Classic and representing my mom and everything was just a dream come true. Obviously, the baseball side was great, but there was so much more to it that made it like so much more sentimental and just a memory that I'm going to have for the rest of my life. The tournament brought me back to Phoenix, which was amazing because I haven't gotten able to play in Arizona since college, and that's been about 7 years. And just being able to be home in front of in front of my family and my friends, and be home for a week back in Phoenix when I'm normally in spring training in Florida. Obviously, getting to represent my mom's side of the family, which is something that sometimes gets a little underrepresented in our family. My dad's side is Cuban, and he was always very proud and made it well known that he was Cuban and that we were Cuban. So getting to represent the other half was just an amazing experience. And then obviously playing at Chase Field, home of the Diamondbacks. My dad worked there for so many years on end. I grew up a Diamondbacks fan, going to that stadium for games. So much of that experience was so much better outside of just the baseball, like the actual playing of it itself.
Mm-hmm. When did that overwhelming feeling of pride for your parents kick in?
Yeah, I'd say, in the tournament, I was trying to hold in all the emotions and just kind of just focus on the task at hand. I think once I was done with my first outing, that's when I could really, enjoy and just like bask in the emotion and just everything that's going on in the moment. And that was a very good feeling, just like sitting in the dugout and just like being able to just like look around and just like really take it in and be like, wow, this just happened.
Mm-hmm. How is that experience still in your current play now?
Yeah, I think it's obviously something you don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
Never gonna forget, and so you just keep it with you and carry it with you. I think it brings a little bit of added confidence to the playing field here in Worcester.
More Than a Game's nonprofit, where you get to give back to the younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start working with them?
Yeah, More Than a Game is something I've been really proud of and happy to be a part of. My best friend best friend in college, Sawyer Gisage, he's the one who kind of spearheads the whole nonprofit. And so after we were done in college and I had gotten drafted, that first off season, he had asked me to go with him to Colombia on a trip for More Than a Game, which was very cool because we went to Medellin and I had never been there before. And they had been doing a handful of trips over the years already, so they had a pretty good things have set up already. They had a field that was in good shape. They had a team, kids that coming out playing baseball after school. So for me to come, just be a part of it, play baseball with the kids, almost just offer encouragement, just like that role model view of like, hey, like this kid's Colombian and he's playing professional baseball. It's just like it helps them. It's one of those where it's like you see yourself up there and you're like, okay, it's not too far away. It's not impossible. So to be a part of that it's been amazing. The next year after that, along with Ryan Fitzgerald and a couple other professional friends of ours who played pro ball also in other organizations, we did another trip to Puerto Rico after that the next year. And that one was a lot more hands-on, a lot more hard work because they just had a giant hurricane tear right through Puerto Rico earlier in that year, and so we went down to a more rural part of Puerto Rico, and one of our professional teammates at the time, his name was Andres Colon, he was from that town, and he was the one who was telling us about like just how their town is still a mess. And we're like, we found the next place to go. Like we found our next stop and like what we could do. And so we spent a week there rebuilding the fields. I mean, we're getting trash out of the fields and like pieces of steel. It was just like, it was like a complete makeover that had to be done. And we were just able to bring those baseball fields back to life. And, you know, it was very cool at the very end where you're seeing all these little kids show up and they have their baseball field back.
What were the children's reaction?
Just, you know, be able to see like the joy and like the happiness that it brought to their face, and just like you just see like how genuinely they appreciated and were thankful for what we were able to do in just a week's time. Where I think it's one of those where like you see those kids' faces and it kind of, you know, leaves an imprint on your memory.
You also are involved in the Worcester community. What event do you have coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to just do as much as I can. I think it's one of those that like I realized early on that like you're not going to play this game forever. You're not going to be around this forever. You're not going to have this platform forever, as much of a platform as this is. So it's always felt like it's been important to me to just like be able to give back, be active wherever I was, whether it was Portland or Greenville, Salem, Lowell, you know, along all the stops along the way. And so like whenever there's opportunities to give back, be a part of the clinics, I mean, whatever they have, you know, in terms of just, you know, being a volunteer, helping out in the community, I've always wanted to be a part of and just do something with it.
Other than baseball, what outdoor activities do you enjoy?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I mean, I think baseball's great and I love baseball, but there's just so much more to my life that like is outside of baseball. And I love to travel. I love to be outside. I love to hike. I love to play golf. And I'm really appreciative that like baseball has brought me to all these parts of the country where like if I wasn't playing baseball, I don't think I'd be able to see so much of this country and all these areas. I mean, here I am, I'm from Arizona and I've been living in like the New England area for the last few years, and if I wasn't playing baseball, I don't think I'd ever see myself living in New England. You know, being in Maine or the heart of Massachusetts, and then all the cities and towns that we see up and down the East Coast and all these parts are like I'd never probably be able to see or, you know, enjoy, take it in. And so I like that's always been like one of my favorite things about baseball is like look where it takes you. Like just that perspective of like, yeah, we're playing baseball, that's great, but there's so much more. Like we got to go to like Norfolk, Virginia, and I really enjoyed that city. I mean, I've been to Buffalo, I've been everywhere in the South from the low A and high A days, you know, all parts of New York, all parts of Pennsylvania. I mean, even my college, like, took us all along the West Coast, up to Washington, Oregon. We played in Hawaii, Texas, like all these places where it's just like, wow, like, baseball's taken me all these places where if it wasn't for this, like, I would never get to see all this.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite spot in New England other than Worcester?
You know, I really enjoyed my stay in Portland. I like Portland a lot. I mean, it was right on the water. The weather was great. I found a lot of things to do outside in terms of like hiking and seeing the coast and going in the ocean. You know, it reminds me a lot of like the Oregon, Washington area where it's like mountain meets coast. So I really liked it up there. I've really liked my time here in Worcester so far. A couple weeks ago, I went to Lake Garfield, which is in like western Mass in the Berkshires. And I mean, that was very cool because growing up in Arizona, like, I don't see a lot of lakes. We don't go to lakes. We don't do that kind of thing. Like, you want to go to see the water, like, drive to San Diego, go to the ocean. So it's just, yeah, all of New England's been very cool. And I see how special the summers are here.
More of a lake guy or ocean guy?
I think I'm still leaning ocean, but I really like the lake, and I thought that was like a fun experience where there's a lot less to worry about in the water. There's no giant sea creatures coming for you.
Finally, for our Worcester Red Sox fans who want to come to BirchTree, what did you enjoy most about today?
Yeah, today was a blast. I mean, we got to see firsthand how everything was made, and we were in the back in the kitchen, and I think it was just a great experience. And this is my first time coming to this place, and I'm definitely coming back. The coffee's fantastic. Been munching on a croissant right here, and I mean, you're getting to see like how they make everything from scratch. And it's just a terrific bakery. The atmosphere on the inside was great, and just great restaurant all in all. Great experience. So.
What was your coffee order?
I'm just a plain black iced coffee guy.
Right.
No sugars, no creams, no nothing, just plain black. What about you? What'd you get?
Similar, just cold brew, little oat milk. So when
Yeah.
people come down, they'll get the Rio, just the classic.
Just the classic.
classic cold brew. But thank you so much. It's so wonderful to hear about your experience with Team Columbia and how involved you are giving back to the young baseball players.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
That concludes the third Diamond Facet. Tune in next time to hear what other WooSox players are up to.